Hello everybody, it's Pavo and welcome to my Q&A. I'm just going to start by saying a few things. Firstly is that I apologise if I pronounce people's names wrong because I'm so bad at pronouncing things. So yeah, sorry if that is the case. And secondly, I'm not actually sure what video is going to be displayed over this Q&A. It might be some sort of gameplay, it might be pictures that I've drawn if it relates to the questions, I don't know, but you can go ahead and minimize the video and just listen to me talking if that's what you want to do. But we'll get straight into things. So first question is from Michaela Samut, and that is, name 3 things that you like about Minecraft. So I think the first thing would be that it's a very creative game. As it's a sandbox, you can build whatever you want, and I love that sort of creativity. But not only that, you can make textures, and I also make mods, if you didn't know, and I like that sort of creative aspect to it as well. I think the second thing would have to be like multiplayer and all the communities that I've joined and so many new friends that I've made via Minecraft. And thirdly, I think it will have to be it's very nostalgic, because I joined Minecraft, I started playing Minecraft about 5 or 6 years ago, as soon as it had come out of alpha. That's when my friends discovered it, and that's when I played it. So yeah, it is very nostalgic, and I can still remember the very first server that I played on. Okay, so next question is from Gustavo Arredondo, and that is, what inspired you to make the exotic birds mod? And I'm not actually sure, I can't remember that far back. It was a few years ago, like 2 or 3, and I was just thinking, well, peacocks aren't in the mod, peacocks are my favourite animal, and I've got an idea on how I can make them. So I decided to see if I could give it a go, and I've created a little peacock model. I'm going to show that on screen, and looking back at it, the textures and the model, they were terrible, and I can definitely see how I've improved since then. But yeah, I made this little model, and I managed to figure out the code that when you right clicked it, its tail feathers went up, and it was just, I found it very adorable, and I was showing it off to all my friends at school. They're like, wow, you made a mod, how did you do that? And I was like, yes I did. And then I added some other things. I added kingfishers and flamingos, and yeah, they were such bad models. And then only recently, I think it was summer of last year, I decided I was going to update it and give them all new models and new textures. And I think the models are so much better now. Well, and yeah, well, I know that they are so much better because looking back at them, oh my goodness. And it's just crazy that the amount of people that liked it and played it, and yeah. So I'm glad I did make it. So second question is from Shunosaurus Lee, and that is, do you play any instruments? If so, what instruments? I don't actually play anything, but I did start learning the violin when I was in year 2, which was when I was about 7, 6, I'm not sure, but I wasn't particularly very good at it, and I hated practicing, and I could not tune it properly, so I was no good at it, and in the end I gave it up. I only did it for like a month, and I couldn't play anything. And I have a guitar, an electric guitar, though I don't know how to play that. And I've been told that I have hands that are good to play piano, though I don't play piano, but I'd love to. I would love to play any instrument at all, but no, unfortunately I can't. But I wish I could. So second question, it's not the second question, I don't know what question we're on, question 3 I think. It's from One Carpery. That is, if you could visit any time period and meet any person in time, where, when and who it would be. and I think I would really love to go back in time and meet Vincent van Gogh, or Go, or however you pronounce his name. I'm going to say Gough because that's how I've always said it. But he is one of my favourite artists, and he's just one of my favourite artists. And his life story is quite sad, and it would just be like nice to go back and cheer him up and tell him how amazing his art would be in years to come. Okay, next question is from Listeki, and that is, why do you not stream on Twitch, especially for the more grindy aspects of your videos? And I don't know whether this was to be included in the Q&A, but I'm going to answer it anyway. And that is because I don't know how to stream on Twitch. 2, I get very distracted, and it's hard for me to build and talk at the same time. And I can't really get that creativity out of me while I am talking, so everything that I do on Zoocrafting, I have to plan beforehand, like on a bit of paper. When I was doing the Swan Lake Cafe, I had the floor plan drawn out next to me, and I have to practice like building the roof to make sure it's okay before I build it in a video. That's why you'll see like major jumps from video to video when I've added more progress in, and that's why I didn't record me building my house in the very first few days of being on Zoocrafting, was because I find it hard to be creative and talk at the same time. I can't multitask at all, so that's why, although if people do want me to stream, I will try to. I don't know if I'm going to be very good at it, and especially because it's live and I always mess up talking things, like my intros. I have to start so many times. But I guess I'll get better at it with time, and I guess I probably won't be as embarrassed. But I don't know. I'll see. If people want me to stream, I'll see what I can do. So next question is from Miss Moss, and that is, how/when did you discover your passion for birds? And that's a question that I'm not actually sure. I think it was only sort of very recently. I think it was around summer when I started the birds mod again, and then I discovered Zoocrafting, though I think that's a later question, so I'm going to keep that to later. And then I realised how much people actually enjoyed it, and then I wanted to make the mod as realistic and factual as I could. And I just found out so much information about birds, and I kept adding on to my knowledge, and I would love to like see every single bird, and just to know about every single type of bird. It'd be cool. And I did actually have a parrot when I was a bit younger, and now we have a parakeet, and my sister has a budgie, though I don't live at home anymore. I'm at uni, so I don't get to see them, and it's actually a lot quieter because there are no birds squawking in the background. They don't squeak. But I'd say for that question, only quite recently, which I think is going to be a bit surprising. But next question is from Zach, and that is, why have not many people watched the Grand Pig Orchestra? And to that question, I have to say, I don't know. And I'll just explain this question a bit. This is a video that me and Zach made. It was like a parody of a Taylor Swift song, and it took us so long to do, and we paid so much effort, and it's like one of the least viewed videos on my channel. And I'm going to link that in the description as well if you want to watch it. But I thought it was great. I thought my editing was so cool. It's even got a bit with a green screen in it, and yeah, I thought it was very clever. But nobody's seen it, so that explains that question. Okay, this question is from Gloria Dodge, and there's 3 of them. It says, will you do more Q&As? Definitely, if people enjoy them. I actually really enjoy answering questions. I like asking questions to people, and I like hearing their responses on Q&As. So I know what it feels like for you to ask questions and get them answered, so I would love to do that. And then the other question is, how old are you? I am 18. I was born on the 27th of July 1997, so all the 7s. And what is your favourite video of yours? And I don't know whether that is about YouTube videos or whether it's about like movies. I'm not actually sure, because my favourite movie changes all the time. My favourite video on YouTube, I'm going to have to say Nyan Cat, because I love that. The tune in it is so cool. Despite me not actually being a cat person, I'm actually a dog person or a bird person. Not sure, it depends. But I think Nyan Cat is one of my favourite videos, so I'm going to have to say that. This question is from Magical Panda Candy. There's 3 of them. First one is favourite mammal. I'm not actually sure. There are so many. I was going to say the platypus, because that's sort of cheating, because that's like combining a bird with a mammal. I'm going to have to think about that one. I think a lion, maybe, or a wolf. Either one of those, a lion or a wolf, or a tiger. I don't know. Oh my goodness, that's hard. One of those 3. And second one is, what kind of Lego themes do I buy? And I actually really love the modular buildings, and they're the ones that are sort of designed for older fans of Lego. And I have every single one of the modular buildings except for, I think it's the first or second one, before they were actually like a series, before it's actually a theme of modular buildings. So I don't have Market Street, though I would love to get it, but unfortunately they're so expensive. And I actually have some of the earlier ones, and they go for so much now because they're so rare. But I love the modular buildings. Third question is cake or cookies? And I'm not actually sure, because I do like cake. I really like carrot cake, and I don't really eat chocolate, so though I did really love chocolate cake. And cookies, or what we call biscuits, I think I do like Oreos. And we have biscuits that are called custard creams, and I adore custard creams. So I think I'm going to have to go with cookies. So cookies for that question. And another one from Magical Panda Candy. Would you go to Comic Con? And I've never been to Comic Con, though I would like to go to Comic Con. And I would actually really like to dress up and go in cosplay. That's the word. Yeah, I would love to go, though I'm not sure what I'd go as, but I really would like to go to Comic Con. But unfortunately, like, none of my friends are really into comics, though I would love to go. This one's from Kate Black, and it says, hope this finds you having a much better week. And I think my week has actually gone okay so far, apart from at the beginning of the week when every single thing I did on my computer went wrong, but that's going to be a story for another day. The questions are, what is the most intriguing place that you have visited, or a place you would like to visit? And I could answer that with many things. The most intriguing place that I have visited, well, the place that I really like is a place called the New Forest in England, and it's surprisingly a forest, and it's got so much wildlife in it, and it's so green compared to the city that I live in, and it's just beautiful. And I used to go there all the time as a child in the caravan, and used to build dens in the forest and play and make new friends, and it was just so fun. And it's just like such a magical time, especially during the summer when it was so sunny. And then we go and get an ice cream, and they had such great ice cream flavours down in the New Forest. So I could say that, and I think again that is nostalgia, because yeah, I love that place. But I've also recently, in the summer 2015, went to Barcelona, and that was incredible. I did not realise how big the city was, and it was just so beautiful. It was incredible. Like, everything that Gaudi built, because the city is basically built entirely by Gaudi, like all his designs, and I thought that was so awesome, especially the cathedral that has been built for the past, I don't know how long, like hundreds and hundreds of years. that was just stunning. It's so colourful. And the other question is, do you prefer seeing the latest technology, beautiful scenery, or special animals? I'm not actually sure. I do love seeing technology, though things like the latest iPhone and things like that doesn't interest me. It's the stuff that like has major uses, like when they found out that you can store computer information inside cells, and they've invented this like artificial chip that might enable paralyzed people to be able to walk again, and that is just incredible. Like, it's life changing. So I really do love seeing things like that. But I do also love seeing special animals and places that I've never even heard of. Like, I didn't realise that America was so big. Like, I knew it was big compared to England. And England, like, is... To get home, it takes me 2 hours, and that feels like a lifetime. And then I've been talking to people that live in America, and they go on trips, and they're driving in the car for days. And I was like, what? That's insane. And all the beautiful places over there, like they have mountains. We don't have mountains over here. Well, if we do, I've never seen any. And I do also like seeing animals. Like, I find out about animals I never even knew existed. And I think that's incredible. Like, so many different types of birds. And for Christmas, I got a bird encyclopedia. If you follow me on Twitter, I was taking a lot of photos of that. And there's so many birds in there that I've never even heard of. And some of them are so pretty. And parrots are like the colours of rainbows, and I never knew they existed. So I don't know how to answer that last question, but hopefully I explained it a bit. So yeah, that's that one. And this one's from Hannah Arukwe. I can't pronounce that, I'm sorry. What is your favourite colour, and would you rather have a pet pig or a pet monkey? My favourite colour changes. It's either red or green, depending on what time of the year it is. At Christmas it's both, because red and green are very festive. So red or green, not quite sure. And would I rather have a pet pig or a pet monkey? And I think I'd have a pet pig, because they're easier to look after. All they need is like a little hut. They need a lot of mud, and you can feed them vegetables. Pet monkeys, I could imagine, need a lot of attention. Although they'd be cute, I think a pet pig would be easier to manage. This one's from Pandora Oreo, and this says, do you think you would get 1,000 subs? 1,000 subs, rather. And no, I didn't. Like, I started off YouTube just for fun, because I liked showing off things that I built. So I had no clue that I would get 1,000 subs, and it still shocks me. Like, I do get like really bad stage fright, so if I was like talking to 1,000 people, oh my goodness, I could not imagine doing that. So no, I did not expect it, but it's incredible, and thank you so much once again. This one's from Raggy Fish, and this says, what are some strange things you used to believe in as a kid? I don't think that I did believe in any strange things. I know that I thought that if I didn't say like goodnight to all the toys in my bedroom, that it'd like eat me when I went to sleep. I think that counts. Also, like when I'd turn my bedroom light off, I would have to like jump into bed to make sure like no hands beneath the bed would grab me. Though I think a lot of people have that, because a lot of people have told me that they've done the same thing. I think that's the only things I can think of. Yeah. So that's the answer to that question. This is from Sarah Schultz, I'm not sure. And this says, if you could you add the bird of paradise, heron, scarlet abyss, blue-footed booby, great frigate bird, puffin, and emu to exotic birds mod? This is for the Q&A. And there's not really a question in there. That's more of a demand. And I'm going to say for that is, there is a Google document where people can put their suggestions for the exotic birds mod, and that is just because I think I prefer my YouTube channel just to be related to the videos, and constantly seeing suggestions and ideas for things to add to the mod makes it seem a bit like a chore, like I'm being constantly bombarded with ideas. So that's why I've decided to put them all in a Google document, and there's so many different ideas and things that people have put on there, and I will gradually work my way through them. So if you leave your suggestions there, then I will go through them. Okay, so this one is from Javert Mats. And what is the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened in your life? And when I read this question, I tried so hard to think of what I was going to say. I had to text my friend and go, what are my most embarrassing moments? I've blanked them all out. They were so embarrassing that I've forgotten. And I've narrowed it down to 2, so I'll explain them both. The first one was when I was mistaken for a shopkeeper in a garden centre, and I was buying some strawberries because I was really into gardening at the time, and I was picking some strawberries up off the shelf, and I was walking to go put them in the trolley, and on the way to the trolley this woman approached me and she was like, excuse me, could you tell me what the tree is outside the front? And I wasn't sure why she was asking me, and it was only till after this whole event that I realised what was happening, and I just looked at her quite weirdly and was like, no. And she was like, well, could you find out? And I got a bit confused why she was asking me, so I said, no, I'm a bit busy. And she like turned around to her husband, who she was with a really disgusted look, and I wasn't sure what to do. So I started to walk away, and she was like, how dare you walk away from me? I just asked you a question. And yeah, that made me really like more put off, and I was dead confused. And then she started shouting at me saying, I was talking to you, I'm going to go get the manager and get you fired, or something along those lines, because I didn't answer a question that she asked. And it was only when I walked away that I realised that she thought that I worked there. And like, I did feel bad for not realising it at the time and not telling her that I didn't work there, but at the same time she just like shouted at me in its garden centre. So I think that is one of the most embarrassing moments. Then the other one is the time I went to KFC with my friend and I ordered a meal, and I misheard what the woman at the till said, so I just said yes, because I am English, and that's what you do when you ask someone a question and you don't hear them and they repeat and then you don't hear them again. You just either say yes or no. So that is what happened, and I said yes, and I didn't know what I said yes to. And then she started piling things on my tray, and she kept piling more things on my tray, and I didn't know what was going on. And then I sort of felt too awkward to tell her that what she was putting on my tray is not what I ordered. So I ended up with like a family meal for 8, all to myself, and it cost me quite a bit because KFC is quite expensive, and I like had to carry this tray of 8 back with my friend who had also ordered her own thing, and gosh, that was probably very embarrassing. And now I've immortalised this forever on the internet. But yeah, those are 2 stories. Hope you found them interesting. And next question is from Andre Santos, and it says, why do you love peacocks so much? Sorry if you already explained that, I just want to know. And I haven't explained that actually, but I got told that when I was little I used to be terrified of peacocks, and that was because we went on holiday to a castle, I think it was, and peacocks are like normally very docile. They'll just wander around, well, at this castle anyway, and you could go up to them, and as long as you weren't scaring them, they weren't really bothered. And apparently I walked up to one and I went to stroke it and opened its tail feathers, and it scared me and I started crying. And I don't have any memory of this, but it's something that my mum told me. And then I was doing Spanish for my GCSEs, which is like 2 or 3 years ago now. And I remember I was learning animals to impress the teacher, and the Spanish for peacock is Pavo real, which actually means royal turkey. And I thought that was so cool, like the way that the language made it so that peacock was royal turkey. And I think that's where that's where my name comes from, by the way. And I thought that was really interesting, and I was just finding out more and more information about peacocks, and they just became my favourite animal, my favourite bird. Oh, and that leads on to this one. What is your favourite bird? And yeah, peacock. Though very recently it started to become magpies, because I just really love their colours and the sounds they make. And yeah, I read somewhere that if you befriend a magpie, then they will start bringing you things, and they're one of the most intelligent birds, actually. They can mimic like parrots, and they've been taught, well, there's been studies and they've been taught to do maths and things like that, and it's actually very clever. This one is from Gustavo Arredondo again, I think, and it says, how did you discover Minecraft? And that was actually because some of my friends at school were playing it, and they suggested that I should get it. So I found it, and I was very confused at first, though it was great. And I remember the very first world I was on, I remember building a little house in some caves, and I called it, I don't know, I don't remember, but I do remember my house, and I had a little room in it was like a 3x3 room in a cave, and I just remember thinking it was so awesome, this little room that I built. And yeah, that's how I first discovered Minecraft. And how did I meet Seri? And that was actually because I was googling for some mod spotlights for the exotic birds mod, so I could put them on the forum page so that people see the videos, they think, oh, that mod looks cool, I'm going to download it. And I found a video that was by Seri, and it was to do with, well, I typed in exotic birds mod, and this video by Seri came up, and I was watching it, and she had the exotic birds mod installed, and she was looking for peacocks, and I just thought it was so cool. And she ran into a bit of trouble with them, and I was like, oops, that was a bit of a bug that I left in, I didn't realise that was going to happen, so thank you for pointing that out. And then she replied, saying something like, oh wow, I didn't expect the mod author to comment, and it was such a sweet comment. And then I followed her on Twitter, and I said something on Twitter about people either stealing my mod or criticising the mod because the models weren't great. And then she sent me this really, really lovely message, and it was so sweet. And occasionally I read it because, yeah, it was like the sweetest thing that I've ever read. And yeah, that's how I found Seri. And next question is, what made you start YouTube? How far do you think you'll go? Well, I started YouTube a couple of years ago because I used to be a moderator on a minigame server that had Capture the Flag, and I was a builder on that server, and I started off recording speed builds with a very, very bad laptop, so I've removed a fair few of those, though there's still one with a very glitchy camera, though yeah, it's one of the first ones, it's a museum, if you go back to my very first videos, and that was just to show off building techniques and explain to people how to build. And then I was just filming some of the gameplay, and then I noticed some other moderators on this server were filming themselves play other games, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that too. So, well, still on Minecraft, but other mini games. So I started to do that, and I then discovered some adventure maps, and I started recording those. And then I had a bit of a break because I just felt like I wasn't really getting much response from people. I was uploading these videos and they would get like 12 views and they weren't doing very well. And then I started doing the Techni modeling videos, the speed models, because I loved doing those. They were so fun to do, just showing the progress, and it's basically like a speed art, and with a software that I knew how to use. So I uploaded those and people really liked those, and I think it's all like thanks to the exotic birds mod. Like if I had not made that mod, I don't know what I'd be doing now. I don't think I'd have met the amazing people that I'd have met. I definitely wouldn't be recording this Q&A. It's just like insane, the opportunities that it gives you. So that's why I'm always up to support people's creativity, and I love seeing all the drawings and videos of you playing with the exotic birds mod, and reading your comments saying this is what you did. It's like so sweet. Like that is the fan art that you give me. Watching me play, me watching you play with my mod, that is just so satisfying and so incredible. So yeah, thank you. And this is from Rebecca Niven, and that says, would you live stream on Bean? And I think that fits in with that question I answered earlier about streaming on Twitch. I think I might do some streaming if people want me to, though I don't think I'll be great, but I guess I'll learn. So if you want me to, please let me know in the comments. And this one is from Nerene, and it says, what is your favourite video game of all time? And again, question I'm not sure of. One of my favourite games to play was RuneScape, and I think that's because I've been playing it for 10 years and I love the constant levelling up and getting XP. Though Minecraft is also one of my favourite games because, yeah, the creativity. But I also really love Portal 2, and I have played through that game 3 or 4 times on different platforms, and it's just a game that I adore. I adore GLaDOS, I adore Wheatley. It's just an incredible game. So one of those 3. I think I'm probably going to have to say Portal 2. And how do I feel about cheese? And I love cheese, except mouldy cheeses or goat's cheese. I'm not really a fan of those. And this is from Luca, and it says, how/where did you learn how to code mods for Minecraft? And the very first mod that I coded was a mod called Angelic Shrines. And it was basically like little temples that spawned across the world, and there was like a little altar block, and it required like sticks or XP or bones or something to resurrect the guardian of the temple, and they'd either reward you or they'd be angry and they would kill you. So I don't know where I discovered or where I learned how to code mods. I guess it was through trial and error and tutorials. I didn't know Java before, but I sort of learnt it from coding, though I couldn't pinpoint it to an exact date or an exact location that I learnt how to code mods. It just sort of happened. And this is from Aloysius, and it says, I love you so much, Pavo, and if you do a Q&A, I have 2 questions for you. What is your favourite flavour of ice cream, and what inspired you to do YouTube? And I'm just going to say thank you. I'm really bad at taking compliments, but thank you. Okay, so what is my favourite flavour of ice cream? And I'm going to have to say strawberry. I love strawberry. I love strawberry sorbet. I love strawberry ice creams. Not really a fan of the fruits themselves, unless they're covered in cream and sugar. But yeah, I do love strawberries. And what inspired me to do YouTube? And I think I answered that one earlier. I just wanted to show off my creativity, basically. And there's this one. It was on my channel. Not really sure whether it was going to be included in the Q&A, but I wanted to put it in just to clarify. How do you get more Pavo points? And you get Pavo points by entering codes that are in my videos, and those codes will only be in zoo crafting videos, and they will be at the end. There will only be hidden codes if I say there are hidden codes in the description, but if you put the the code that is in the description onto the redeem area of my website, you will get a certain number of Pavo points, and that is how you earn them. You get 500 for registering and verifying your email, and that is the only way that you can get them. Though I was thinking of doing some sort of donator shop where you can donate and you get a certain number of Pavo points, but I'm not sure because I sort of want it still to be fair, but I'm not sure. I'll figure it out some of the time. And I think that is the end of my questions. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it didn't go on for too long. So I'll see you all next time.